Recording in progress.
All right, I know y'all ready to get started. We are going to get this thing going. I got a good one for you on today. Definitely got a good one. Thanks for being in here on the live stream with us today here, Earl Hall Studio and Earl Hall Media. This is going to be something that you are definitely going to want to make sure that you stick around for all the way through until the end. You can let me know. Can everybody hear me okay? I want to make sure I can be heard. I'm sure you've seen the countdown going. 8 seconds we got. All right, let's go and get into this thing. Let me know you can hear me. Let me know who you are and where you're from today. Look, thanks for being in here because we're going to be talking about how to write video scripts better than 99% of YouTubers that are out here. It's the thing, especially when we're talking about content creation, you've got to have a plan going on. You've got to have some secret weapons in your arsenal in order to execute on these things appropriately. And the main thing that we want to make sure that we do is not just about making great videos or making great podcasts even, but it is definitely about keeping that viewer, that listener engaged to what it is that you're doing. Now, I've taught on this before on this channel here as well on how you can utilize one of the tools that I'm going to be talking about, which is ChatGPT, in order to get you set up for success. I think a lot of people, and I've talked about this before, use ChatGPT from a very basic perspective, not fully engaging with it. So that ChatGPT understands who you are and also understands who your business is, because this is really where the rubber meets the road in so many cases. We want an answer in particular, we want an answer from ChatGPT, but we haven't told ChatGPT anything about who it is that we are. Throughout the course of this live stream, which I do for you guys every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is the second one that I've done. The first one that I did was actually December 31st, preparing everyone for what's going to be coming now. This is the first Thursday that we're doing this live. And it is so that you can actually engage with me. You can ask me questions in regards to what it is that we're talking about, so that you make sure that you get a clear understanding. I wanted to do it this way as opposed to just producing a video, but make it so that it could be interactive. It's also, even if you check the link in the description, you can even join me on Zoom. I'm broadcasting live on Zoom as well, so that if you want to come on camera with me, hey, we can do that. And a lot of times, if we're just able to talk back and forth instead of type back and forth, things move a lot quicker. But however you want engaged, that's fine. Thanks for the thumbs up, whoever that was. Definitely appreciate it. But look, when it comes down to scripting, I want you to understand, in a lot of cases here, we're not talking about word for word, which obviously we're going to talk about, and you can do that. And in many instances, it's very good to do word for word. If I'm doing like a product read for a commercial or something like that, it's usually a script, that's written out, and I do that. Sometimes on some of my training videos that I do for certain industries, I might literally have it scripted out or some portions scripted out. But usually the type of guy that I am, I like to operate, from the hip, basically just shoot from the hip. And I don't talk about things that I actually don't know about. And that's why I can just flow with the information that I'm giving. But sometimes there's some points that I want to make sure that I hit. So I have those things written down so that I make sure that I am right on point with all of that. Now, when it comes down to writing scripts, and I'm not going to go into the chat GPT thing about how you should set that up. You can watch a previous video on how to do that. But when you're looking to do a podcast or an educational type video, maybe not a podcast, unless you're just a talking head, as opposed to interviewing someone. But let's just talk about it from the perspective of you're a talking head, like what you see me doing right now. And you're trying to show your expertise from the perspective for your prospect or your audience that you understand the problems that they're actually going through. That is the point. And when people see that you actually understand the problems that they're going through, it automatically interprets into you have the answer, or you probably have the answer to what it is that they're looking to overcome, which is how you get clients. The only reason we get clients is because there's a problem that they want to overcome. It's kind of the reason you're even watching this video. There's a problem you want to overcome. So you're watching this so that you can get the answer on to how to overcome that problem. So when you're looking at crafting a script or a training or whatever it is that you do, the first thing you want to do is probably write down under the topic that you're going to be talking about, whatever that topic is for your industry. And you can throw in chat, like, what industry are you in? We might be able to have a better conversation if I know that as well. Just throw into chat, what industry are you in, right? And you want to write down 3 to 5 problems for the topic that you're solving. It's like, for instance, with this topic, right? How to write video scripts better than 99% of YouTubers. Okay, I've got actually about 4 or 5 topics that I want to cover under that to answer questions, because these are problems or pain points that people come to me with that they want answers or solutions for. So you just heard my first point. When you have discovered the topic that you want to talk about, however you come up with that, under that topic, you want 3 to 5 problems to solve for your target audience. That's really it. And when you think about, in particularly, when we're talking about YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. Google is number 1. And the number 1 search engine, Google, owns the number 2, which is YouTube. And people go to YouTube not just to watch cat videos or funny videos or whatever, but they go to YouTube and search out so that they can get an answer to a problem. And they go to the search bar and they type that problem in, usually beginning with a statement like how to or how do I. It's like that question statement starts coming in and then they fill in the rest. And then YouTube populates them with an answer so that they can then go and find out, hopefully, those solutions. So this is a good thing, because when you're creating a podcast on YouTube, and when I say the word podcast, let me clarify this. A podcast is audio or video, right? People may classify even this live stream as somewhat of a podcast, but the podcast term is now interchangeable between video and audio. Usually back in the day, when we said podcast, we were just talking about something you listen to. Whereas now it's more involved. It is also included in video. But so you can start creating content, or should be creating content around the problems that your audience has. And I'll just call it your potential clients. Because into the world that we live in today, you actually don't have customers unless you have an audience of people that have been watching you and actually can see and discern that you actually know what you're talking about. So this is why one of the biggest parts of this is identifying the problems of that target audience that you want to address. So point number one, 3 to 5 problems under the topic that you're going to be talking about. Now, you want to, point number 2, list out the results of how you solve those problems. Not how you solve the problem, but the results that they can get by solving the problem. Because a lot of times, and the reason why I say don't show people how you do it, which you can, but sometimes that can become a lot more involved, and that might be something better to have in something like a paid course or something like that, so that you can actually take the time that is needed to go point to point. But you do want to make sure that they get the result of solving the problem. So for instance, the reason why you want to list out 3 to 5 problems that your target audience has is so that you have something to talk to them about that they already know they have a problem with. Is that clear? I'm hoping I'm making that clear. Point number 2, list out the results of how you solve those problems. Like what is the result they're going to get from solving this problem? Now, point number 3, if you've been doing the work on training ChatGPT, and if you don't know what I mean when I say training ChatGPT, ChatGPT is an AI platform, obviously, and I believe most people know or have heard of at least ChatGPT, so they know what it's all about. But if you've been doing the work on training your ChatGPT, like I've taught, this becomes very easy to do. Now, I want to give you an example and show you what it is that I mean. And as a matter of fact, I'll just share my screen with you so that you can actually see my workflow. You can actually see my process for all of this. So if I do a screen share, I think, oops, I've got to unlock this a bit. And then we can, all right. So this is like my bullet point list of what I want to share with you. Right. So I have this out. I use Trello, and I use a Trello board to kind of map out what it is that I want to do. Many of you may use Trello or even have seen something like a Trello. But basically, if you've trained ChatGPT, right, I wrote this out based on what you know about me and my ideal client. What are 3 problems that I can help them solve with my services? Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go over to ChatGPT. Now you can see over here, I've got, or maybe you can't see. Let me see if I can zoom out. You see, I've got right over here, Earl Hall Media, right? So I've trained and have been training ChatGPT on how to do what I want it to do so that it understands and fully knows who I am and what I do. So this is a statement that I can put into ChatGPT, and it's not just going to give me a generic answer. It's going to use the information it already has about me and everything that it knows about my ideal client and just make this super simple. So I just pasted that statement in here. And now ChatGPT is going to give me an answer. And these are the things that you can do. Now, it's saying, based on your expertise at Earl Hall Media and your focus on professional coaches and consultants, here are 3 key problems that you can help solve with your services. There they are. Oh, really? I can help develop effective video marketing strategies. I can help them with streamlining the video production process, and I can help them maximize online presence and audience growth. This is not a generic response from ChatGPT, because I've gone through and done this, and then this also leads to helping me develop the scripts that I want to do as well. And so here's some more information. Now, you just saw me put that into ChatGPT, and I'm going to tell you, you need to watch the videos I've done on how to train ChatGPT to do this stuff for you. So now, here's the next one. Based on what you just gave me, write me a script for a YouTube video where I will teach these things. So I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to go back over to ChatGPT, and I'm going to paste this. I saw a typo. All right. Based on what you just gave me, write me a script for a YouTube video. Now watch what it does. It's going to take all the information it gave me, and then it's going to script out a YouTube video for me, not just the words, but even some imagery that I can use in this as well. All right, so now it's giving me this script, and it's giving me the words to say. When you see Earl, obviously that's me. This is what I need to say, and it gives me some transition to problem 2, visuals of a simplified production process. This is an entire script that I can literally go through and teach on the 3 problems that it told me that I could solve. Right now, you don't have to just put in, just give me 3. Right, you can put in 10, 20, 50. As long as you've put in the information that ChatGPT understands about you, so that it understands who you are and what it is that you do, these sorts of things become very, very simplified. It seems like my hat's getting cut off here, so I'm going to do a little adjustment on my video here so we can see that. All right, now I'm better framed. All right. Now, with what I just showed you, can you see the power that can come from doing this and how you can actually start writing these scripts out? Can you see that? Now what I can do, based on the YouTube script that you just gave me, create me a simple bullet point list on all of the things that I should cover. Why am I doing that? Because if I'm doing this YouTube video, I'm not going to read the script. I might look at this script and say, oh, this is a good part. I should probably use this, or I could use this, and I might want to take that out. But because I'm a bullet point guy and it already created the script, I can just put this in based on the YouTube script that you just gave me, create me a simple bullet point list on all of the things that I should cover. So now it's going through this and giving me the bullet point list of what I should cover. Now, because I'm very intimately involved with these things, I don't need full, word for word scripts for this. And you can see ChatGPT is just giving me bullet points. That's it. So I can look at each bullet point and I can just riff on it. I can just start talking about it because I actually know about it. Right. And that's a key thing. And because if you're a coach, if you're a teacher, did you guys see that? I'm assuming you saw that. It gave this out. I don't know if it actually showed this or not, but yeah, it gave me the bullet point list of all that stuff. I don't know if I had the right camera on or not or whatever, but you can test all this stuff out yourself utilizing ChatGPT. All right. So now, with all of this being said, what you want to make sure that you are doing, and I think that probably the most important part about this to cover is that in order to get these specific types of results, you have to input information into the AI system like ChatGPT in order for you to come up with it. Now, even if you are a bullet point person, which if you're an expert in your field, you ought to be a bullet point person. You shouldn't be trying to teach something you don't know about just because ChatGPT gave you a script for it. That's not really good to be doing. So there are softwares out here that can actually help you develop full blown out scripts, even based on things that you would see on YouTube. So let me go back to sharing my screen here. There's a software and it's called TubeSpanner. And it's one of the AI tools that, quite frankly, I use a lot. And so I'm going to kind of show you again, and I've shown this before, but in this particular one, since we're talking about video scripts, then I wanted to go ahead and show you how you can actually get a legit video script. Now, you may need to go into the AI title inspiration to figure out a title to use, right? And so you can put in some keywords, who your audience is, if it's an explainer video, a commentary, an interview, and you can do that and get some amazing results from TubeSpanner. But then also we've got video scripts. We've got an AI video script generator. So even if we take a look at this, one of the things that I can do, and there's a link in the description if you want to find TubeSpanner, or you can just go to tubespanner.com and get this for yourself as well. What I'm going to do, unless someone puts in a topic for me, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to take my topic, right? And then I'm going to go back over here and it says, enter the title of the video script you want to create. This is so cool, right? And then it has an advanced tab as well. I'm not going to use this, but I'm going to explain how to use it. Positive and appreciative, like as far as how you want it to be. Do you want it to be divisive? Do you want it to be mixed, neutral, unclear, positive and appreciative? So you can even start right there, right? And so then you can put in points, positive points that you want to make sure that you cover. Like if you know your topic, put in some positive points that you want to cover. You can also put in some negative points and it'll give you a better script with that. But I'm not going to put anything in here because I want to show you, and it's going to create this script. And you can go back and forth between something like a TubeSpanner and also ChatGPT to kind of really hyper focus on creating that script. And like, even after I show you this, there's some points that I definitely want to make sure that you cover. Now, it's giving me the whole entire script that I can read through here, right? Also, it's showing me about how long this video will be right up over here, approximately 6 minutes, 40 seconds, right? Now, I can say this, I don't like the introduction portion of this. And, a lot of the points in here, I may be able to take some pointers from, maybe include it in my bullet point list. And the thing about with TubeSpanner, you can actually go in and edit right here with the edit button, and you can change whatever portion of the script you want to go through and change, especially if you're going to be reading it word for word. You want to make sure that it's your voice and that what it's saying here actually makes sense. Now, I've gone through and I've shown you the AI pieces that I use to actually generate my script. And the thing about this is, hey, what's up, CC? Glad to have you in here. I can always tell when people use that chat GPT. A lot of times you actually can. And you can generally tell it because it's not in their voice, like how they would actually say something. And then also you can tell it because it may sound kind of robotic when they're talking. Right. So you can tell these things in many different things, even in print, even if you're just writing a post or whatever, sometimes you can do that as well. But I want to give you, and this is the most powerful part of this. When you are creating a script, whether it's word for word or whether it's bullet points like I like to do, there are three main parts of any YouTube video, especially for an entrepreneur, a coach, or consultant, especially when you have a product to sell. Now, these three key points that you want to make sure you cover, it's called the hook, basically the hook, the story, and the offer. The hook, sometimes a rehook, the story, and the offer. So what's the hook? I'm going to tell you something that really just bothers the crap out of me. When I'm watching someone's YouTube video, and most of the time if they do this, I usually click away. I had a video today someone put on my Facebook feed, and I went, oh, let me go see what they're talking about. And I was like, I can't watch it. I just can't. When you go to watch a video or even do a live stream, if you were on from the beginning of this live stream, I didn't come on and say, hey, everybody, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Hope everything's going great. Today I had to, it's like, okay, I came to watch this for a reason. And when people start off a video that way, which a lot of folks do, when you start if you ever start diving deeper into like YouTube analytics and things like that, YouTube shows you your drop off in the first 30 seconds. And if you can't keep people past the 30-second mark, they're not going to watch the video. So it's the 30-second mark. And then I also call it the 1-minute mark, which from 30 seconds, it's the hook. The next 30 seconds, it's the rehook, right? So what the hook involves in this whole process of hook, rehook, story, and offer. The hook is you go immediately into what you're going to talk about. You'll notice that when I went live and that countdown timer went off, I told you exactly what we were going to talk about. I didn't introduce myself. I didn't ask how you were doing. I didn't do any of that. Now, I've done it in the past before I started learning this type of approach. But whether you're creating a video or a live stream, you have literally less than 30 seconds. Basically, it's right around, I'd say 4 or 5 seconds to hook people in to watch your entire video. And if you can keep them past 30 seconds, you can keep them a little bit longer. But if you don't maintain the promise of it, it's never going to happen, right? So the hook, this is the problem we're here to solve. This is what we're here to learn or whatever. You want to go right into that and be compelling about it. And then the rehook is going to be talking about the benefits of watching until the end, right? That's kind of the rehook that you want to keep them engaged. So you got the hook, you have the rehook. Now you got the story. What's the story? The story is all of the teaching that you're going to do, but even that has to be done in a pretty compelling way as well. It can't be boring. It can't be too static. It's like, even that's why I use screen shares and things like that, so we can kind of keep things moving along and you can see literal things that I'm doing, right? So that's your story portion, which is the longest portion of the video. Is that when you're getting to the end of your video, not so much on a live stream, because a live stream is different from actual video. So I'm going to give you the perspective on a video. You don't want to start ending your video ever. You don't want to say, hey, this is the last point I'm going to cover, or hey, thanks so much for watching this. All right. That last portion of your video needs to be an offer. Now, that could be an offer of a product or a service. But in particular, if we're talking about YouTube, and when you dive deeper into how the YouTube algorithm actually works, YouTube rewards you for people watching another video, whether it's yours or someone else's. So if they're going to reward you for someone watching another video, lead them to another video of yours. So for instance, instead of saying, okay, this is the last tip, or that was the last tip that we're going to talk about, hey, if you want to know more about this, I dive a little bit deeper on this video. Go ahead, click right over here on this video and watch this one to get even better results. That's an offer. And especially for new YouTubers, you want to make sure that you're keeping people on the platform. That's the goal of YouTube, is to keep people on the platform. Now, even though I'm broadcasting live right now, multicasting, I'm on 2 Facebook channels, LinkedIn, 2 YouTube channels, and I'm also broadcasting on X, all simultaneously. And right now, especially since this is kind of something brand new that I'm doing, I need to see where my audience is. So even in the links for the description that I have, and letting you know that you can subscribe to the channel or whatever, or you can watch me on Zoom. You can watch me wherever I'm broadcasting, but you want to start driving your audience to your main hub. And even with me simulcasting right now, it will start over a period of weeks and a couple of months showing me where my real audience is for this that I'm doing right now. I started my main YouTube channel for Earl Hall Studio. This was 2016, 2015. Built that audience up to over 15,000 people. Well, that only happened because I was talking to a very specific audience of basically voiceover actors at the time, right? And so that audience built up. So I knew that that is where my hub was, and there was a very strategic way that I went about doing that. But when you're branching out and you want to see where your main audience is, you've got to start collecting that data. You've got to start seeing that, okay, I'm, for instance, multicasting, but most of my folks are coming from X. I need to double down on X, but you've got to get that data. All of this comes into play, even with utilizing ChatGPT in an appropriate way with that. And even if you're watching me now on a channel other than YouTube, I would suggest that you follow me on YouTube. If you're following me on Facebook, click the link in the description so that you can actually make sure, because I for one, I love YouTube. And YouTube is the only platform out there where your content lives forever. The content that's on your Facebook feed, it's going to fade away. It's just going to be so far down in your feed, no one is ever going to see it again. But YouTube, the content lives forever and is searchable forever, especially when you understand how the search algorithm works on YouTube. It makes it very important for that. So even if you're watching me on Facebook, actually, can you put into the chat or the comments right now, where are you watching me from? Are you watching me on Facebook? Are you watching me on YouTube? Are you watching me on X? Just put it in the comments so that I can kind of see that. Because like I said, the collection of this data for you as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, as the coach, as the consultant, you need to know exactly where your audience is and where you know you need to be. And sometimes that takes a little bit of time to really acquire that. But when it comes down to creating that content that you want to create, which is why you're here, to discover how to write better video scripts. Thanks, Cece. Says they're on YouTube. Thanks so much for letting me know. I know there's others, but they don't want to let me know, but that's okay. That tells me something too, or it should tell you something as well. It shows you where your audience is engaging. So when you're talking about developing better scripts than 99% of YouTubers, the reason why it's better than 99% of YouTubers is because you're actually putting in a process and a strategy to create your content. You're using an actual strategy that works to create the content that you're looking to create. When you can follow these steps, and I'll just tell you what they are again. What are the 3 to 5 problems that your target audience has? List out the results of how you solve those problems. If you've been doing your work on ChatGPT, this all becomes easier. And I gave you examples of how to put in a prompt for ChatGPT to give you a response. But if you have not trained ChatGPT on who it is that you are, you're going to get very generic responses, not real ones. And so when it comes down to scripting, if your AI tool, whether it's something like a ChatGPT or a tube spanner or whatever that I showed you today, if it does not know who you are and what you do, you are not going to get the best response. The one that is legitimately who you are, because you haven't trained ChatGPT in the best way possible. Thanks for being here with me today. Look, I'm with you folks every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here with you. I'll take your questions. I'll take your comments while you're live. Even, hey, shout out to #ReplayCrew. If you're watching this on the replay, leave me your comments, leave me your questions, and I'll be sure to answer them. I would definitely like you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is in the description wherever you're watching right now. And I've got a lot to share. CC is saying the audio version lets me put in info about myself. Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. What else you got here? Oh, you're more than welcome, CC. I appreciate you talking to me, CC. That just means the world to me that you actually took time out, type on your keyboard or on your phone or wherever you're watching, to let me know that I'm not alone. But I can do this with no one here at all, but I definitely appreciate the input and prefer that. So thanks once again for being here with me on today. Definitely appreciate that. And I will see you folks next week on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click the links in the description. Click the links in the description and make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's my offer. You have an awesome and amazing day and the rest of your week. I'll see you next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Take care.